Check, 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 check. a senior at York Comprehensive High School. This is my second year interning here, and today I will be your host on taking you through a virtual manufacturing day through the plant, and we will interview multiple. But as we're interviewing, I want you to think of some questions, because afterwards we're going to have you ask them some questions. So first up is our site manager, Scott Walters.
Good morning, Micah.
Good morning, Scott. So what are some of the products you make here?
Well, we make our main product here is brakes, and we make brakes for the Class 8 truck industry, which we like to call 18-wheelers, or most of you call 18-wheelers. We make the spiders, and we make the brake shoe, which is the main components for the brake. We also, in a different part of our building, would take these brakes and put them onto axles. So we supply all the southeastern plants for DTNA or Freightliner out of this plant. So all these brakes, they get built together and then put on an axle. That's here in the Carolinas, which get built into trucks.
Okay, cool. And how many employees do you have here at this plant?
I want to say we got about 330 employees at this present time.
Nice. And what do you do as a plant manager?
Well, first and foremost, my main job is to ensure the safety of the employees here at the plant. And secondly, is to take care of my customers. Got to give them the right quality, the right cost, and also the delivery of the product so they can build theirs and sell them to other consumers. So
Nice.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. And what is your favorite part about your job?
I like working with all the people. I don't know 330 personally by name, but there's all kind of different diversity here, different cultures, and with all that coming together, we were able to build these products effectively. The technology and innovation that they bring to this plant, and along with the products, it's just been great.
Nice. And how did you get into this career?
Well, I'm like a little boy. We see these big Volvo trucks and Caterpillars and 18-wheelers running down the highway, and one day you say, I want to drive one of those. Well, I don't really want to drive one. I want to make one.
Mm-hmm.
So in manufacturing, I know that I'm a part of that. I get to see our products go from metal to usable parts, and it kind of makes you feel a little feeling of accomplishment when you see that come to a part.
And what are you most proud of here?
I think one of the things I'm most proud of is we've been able to develop a lot of people in this plant, and actually I work for some of them that we developed out of our plant. We bring them in straight out of school in many cases, or right out of college, put them in engineering. They can define their career path from there, and we help them get there. Our president of the truck actually worked here in this plant as a CI director at one time, so now he's my big boss. So I think just being a part of that and helping develop people is the most favorite part of my job.
Yeah. And do you have any advice for our students?
I would say get your education. Go, find what you want to do in life. If it's an engineering degree, if it's science degree, manufacturing degree, or management, set your target high and go get it.
Okay. And do we have any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna stand here, I guess. Yeah. Got any jokes? No, neither do I. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so next we're gonna go move on into the plant, and we're gonna put on our safety gear. Our safety gear consists of steel-toed boots, safety glasses, and safety earplugs. So let's go. Okay, so next we have Sam Anderson. He's our electronics engineer. So tell us about the area in this work.
Well, this area right here is the Kugler cell, it's a robotic cell which feeds our spiders into a CNC machine and machines the spider, and you have a material handler parts, load the machines, unload the machines, and put it back onto a pallet, brings it around to the operator.
And what do you like most about your job?
What I like is the flexibility, always learning new things, being innovative, uh, uh, always progressing, always growing, and of course learning new things.
And how is technology used here?
How is it used?
Yeah.
It's used widely. I mean, it's always progressing. It's always new technology out there. So you gotta keep your ears out to be able to grasp that technology and use it out here on plant floor.
And what influenced you to go to school for being an engineer?
Well, I actually went to school for architecture, and they didn't have the program, so the next best thing was engineering, and I decided to get into that. I love design. I love to design do my own design. So I got caught into engineering.
Yes, and do you have any advice to our students?
Just to stay focused, to remember that hard work doesn't go unseen, and make sure that you're not taking the education that you're receiving for granted.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions?
Can you talk about the software that runs the robot?
Can you talk about the software that runs the robots?
Well, a lot of it is you have a few different pieces of software. You have your PLC software, which sends signal back and forth from the equipment to the robot, so you have communication. You have your HMI software, where the operator communicates with the system to stop it, to start it, to add different variables, and that's with that's RS Logics, which is the PLC software, and then you have RS. You have RS Links, which is communication between the softwares, and then you have Panel View, which is the HMI software.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, so next up we have Jason Wallace, who is in the brake assembly. So tell us about this area and the work that you do.
Hello, I'm Jason Wallace. This is the brake assembly area where we assemble different kind of brakes. What I do is I assemble a certain type of brake called an EX brake. It's an air disc brake. It goes in commercial trucks such as fire trucks, dump trucks, things like that, some military vehicles.
Okay, and what do you like most about your job?
Well, what I like about my job, well, I've been here 13 years. I started like a month after I graduated high school, so it's a good place to work at. It's done a lot for me. You know, it's real comfortable here. It's like a family here. But what I like about my job is I like the technology that it has. I have each one of the brakes I build has a label on it with a barcode and a serial number. When you scan the barcode, it pulls up a bill of material on your screen that shows you everything you need to build the brake. Also, each component has a green light in front of it that glows and showing you which ones that you're supposed to use. So really, you don't have to worry about building a bad brake. So that's why I like my job. It's comfortable.
And what kind of education is needed for this job?
Oh, you need either a high school diploma or a GED.
Now, you recently went back to school. Can you tell us about that?
I did. I went back to school for blueprinting training and welding, which I always wanted to learn how to do.
And where did you go? What school?
I went to York Tech. It's a really nice school. They really show you a lot there.
Okay, and do you have any advice for our students?
I do. Just follow your rules, follow your instructions, because we use a lot of instructions here. Each job here has a book on it called a work instructions, and the book tells you everything you need to do to run a job. So just follow your instructions and keep up the good work.
Any questions?
Talk a little bit about salary.
Can you talk about the salary that you make?
What we make?
Yeah, what do you make?
Oh yeah, I like the salary here. It's pretty good for me. I usually make around 50 something a year. I'm very happy. It's good for me.
What about benefits?
Yeah, the benefits are good too. Um, they're good. I really like them a lot. I mean, they got good health, good dental, vision, everything you need.
Okay, cool.
How about quality control? How you test the stuff with them?
Now, how about quality control? How do you test that kind of stuff?
The quality.
Yes.
We usually have a QC person that comes behind us, and they pretty much check every brake that we build. They manually check every brake we build. So as soon as they leave here, they go to quality, they check them, and then they go out the door to the customer.
Okay, cool.
Anything dangerous?
Is there anything dangerous in this job?
No, not really. It's pretty safe. Everything's pretty safe over here.
Is there any safety precautions that you go through every day that you have to deal with?
Pretty much just pinch points, and we have it our safety critical stations marked, so you know what to look for, so you won't get pinched or beat up a little bit.
How many do they make a day? If he knows.
Do you know about how many pieces that you make a day?
Yeah, we usually get around 50 a day, anywhere from 50 to 55.
How about work hours? What shifts?
What about your shift hours? About what time do you come in?
It's usually 8 hours a day. It's usually 7 to 3:20. We have 3 shifts, usually 8 hours a day.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're up next. No, he's next. And
Hold on. And we're live.
Okay, so we are back with Dylan Lingerfelt, who is our welder. So what do you do on your job?
Well, right now I'm in the transitioning welder, so about 9% of the time I'm doing my original job, which was a brake builder. So mainly what a brake builder is putting the brakes together, and then that goes onto the axle, which is the main part of the axle, which stops the axle from moving, which the axles go on your 18-wheelers and school buses and stuff like that. My welding is putting parts on the axle that holds the axles to the trucks.
Okay, and what kind of training did your first job take?
Well, my first job was learning the schedules and what actually goes on the brakes.
Okay, cool. And so why did you choose this career?
Well, I didn't know I actually wanted to be a welder. I actually did a little piece of it in high school. So whenever I came here, a schooling bid came open and I bidded on it. So I bidded on it, and then Meritor actually sends you to school and pays for it. So I was like, why not?
Okay, and where do you go to school?
York Tech.
Okay, and what kind of, you're going for welding?
Going
right?
for welding and blueprints.
Okay, cool. And what's the biggest difference between like high school and work here?
The biggest difference for me personally was coming out into the real world. Hey, you have bills and stuff like that. When I was in high school, you just went to school and that was it.
Okay, and do you have any advice for our students?
Is to do your electives. Me personally was the electives where I found out about welding.
Yeah, okay, cool. We have any questions?
Talk about work hours again.
What kind of work hours do you have?
Well, I'm on second shift, so my hours is 2 to 10.
Okay, cool. And what kind of salary do you make, roughly?
My hourly wage is $15.05.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Audio is live. Hold on just a minute for video. All right.
So next we have Catherine Hibbard, who is our Human Resource Co-op. So you currently are a co-op here in HR. How did you get into this position?
Well, I'm an active member of the Society of Human Resources at Winthrop, and my advisor will send internship opportunities via email regularly. So I sent in my resume, had an interview, and here I am.
Nice. And tell us about your typical day.
Well, I've learned that not 2 days are never the same in HR.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that are going on. On Mondays, for instance, I'll audit the payroll and make sure that everybody's going to get paid what they're supposed to. We'll do some paperwork for people who are changing departments. But my favorite part is just getting out on the floor and the engagement with the employees out there.
Now, you were a first-line supervisor this summer. What was that like?
It was a tough job. There's a lot going on that you have to be accountable as a supervisor. There's a lot of people who rely on you to get the production numbers done that you're supposed to.
Okay, and what did you learn in school that helped you here?
A few of the things that have really helped me the most is the self-discipline and time management. When you're in college, your professors aren't really checking in on you, making sure that you're doing your homework or preparing for a test. So you have to rely on yourself to get everything done, work is the same way.
Yeah. Now, what do you look for in an employee when they come?
One of the main things is like the ability to follow directions, to understand what you're reading and be able to do it while you're actually working.
Yeah. And what kind of process, if someone wanted to come work here, what kind of process would they have to go through?
Well, we'll run a background check usually, and that will do felony, misdemeanors, everything. We also do a hair follicle drug test, and that goes back 7 months. And they're very particular. It'll see exactly like any drugs that you've taken recently or in the past 7 months.
Okay, cool. Any other questions?
Talk about are internships paid? We had a question about that.
Yes.
So are your internships paid?
Yes, they are.
Okay, cool. And what kind of hours do you work?
Well, I've been really lucky. Meritor works really well with my school schedule. So right now on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm here in the morning. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm here in the afternoon, and then all days Friday.
Okay, cool. I like how it works together.
Yeah.
Nice. That helps a lot. Any others?
Talk about internet and how you make use of the internet here in the building.
Okay.
What happens if it goes down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what about the internet here? What does that play into?
Well, on the human resource side, we use a time clock that's connected to the internet, and that's how we can see everybody's hours, when they punched in, when they punched out. If the internet goes down, the people who are working are unable to punch in or out. So that causes some problems with payroll. We'll have to manually enter anything for that.
Does it affect anything else in the plant?
As far as I know, it will affect the way the machines run. I don't know as much as the technical stuff as the people who work out there.
Any others?
If you could just kind of mention again coursework that you're doing right now.
Okay. So what kind of classes are you taking right now?
Right now, I am taking a talent management class, which kind of involves like the training, how to get people engaged in their work. I'm also taking an organizational behavior class, which is kind of the same thing, but it deals on a bigger spectrum. And then I have basic classes, like I'm taking a biology class.
Yeah.
I'm taking accounting, taking statistics. It's basic things at this point too.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take it from you. Woot, woot.
And we'll work to bring everybody else in.
Okey-dokey.
We're all here.
So I'll hop in. Just get on a piece of tape and you'll be good. Should we stand them in the order that we saw them?
No. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
That's
so-
fine.
Yeah, it's good enough. Okie dokie.
I'm gonna slide back out just a bit.
So I'll stand in the way and I'll. Okay.
Get you
Okay, I'll stand next to Scott. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Better.
All right. So we want to handle a couple of questions from some of the schools.
Yeah.
One of the questions, I'm gonna read it as it is. Can you tell us more about what the fifth wheel on 18-wheelers is? What's it for? Does Meritor create any materials that attach directly to that wheel?
Okay. So the fifth wheel. Okay. Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. So our first question is, can you talk about the fifth wheel on the truck? So who wants to answer it? There you go.
Well, the fifth wheel is actually the attachment that rides on the back of the tractor that would attach the trailer to the tractor, and it allows the pivot point for turning and stuff. Meritor doesn't have anything to do with that part of it. We're basically all just undercarriage parts. So the fifth wheel would come from someone else.
Okay, next one.
All right. Talk about what a line supervisor does.
Okay, can someone answer what a line supervisor is?
Well, a line supervisor is the person who supervise. We have two axle lines. So it's the person who is responsible for the two axle lines and all of the employees that work on the line. They have a lead that helps them kind of do the technical things, but they're more worried about scheduling people for vacation, making sure that there's coverage for that. There's production numbers that the axle lines are required to reach, and the supervisor is held accountable to get those production numbers met in any way possible.
Thank you.
Let's stay over there. We had a question about where the majority of our employees come from.
Okay.
from college?
Yeah.
The question is, do the
Yeah.
majority of your employees come from York Tech?
Okay. So do the majority of your employees that we hire come from York Tech or where?
No, they don't. And Meritor actually has a program where we will send employees to York Tech. So a lot of our employees have had the education from York Tech, but they have been sent there with Meritor.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about breaks. What kind of rest breaks
Okay.
on the clock do y'all get?
Okay.
Oh,
You can answer it.
Dylan, you
I think, well, yeah, a little bit of everybody, if you don't
I
mind.
don't know.
Okay.
break,
Just anything about breaks. So,
Breaks and lunch.
yeah.
lunch break.
Oh,
10-minute
that
break.
kind of break.
If you work-
Oh.
if you work a long shift, you get 2 10-minute
Yeah.
breaks.
Okay. So can you talk about lunch breaks and breaks?
Well, normally in your 8-hour shift, you'll get a 10-minute break, and then you'll get a lunch break, which is 30 minutes. Now, if you work 12 hours, you'll get a break before your shift, which is at 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And then from the office side, can you
Okay.
talk about your breaks?
So there you go.
Break? What's that?
Yeah. Well, typically during the week, I only work a couple of hours, so I don't usually take a lunch break. I'll, bring some food and eat in my office. I don't know. Scott, you want to talk about your lunch breaks that you get?
Or Sam, can it?
Or Sam, yeah.
Well, usually we get an hour break, usually around 12:30, whatever you decide.
Okay, cool.
How many robots does Meritor have?
Meritor has 37 robots.
Wow. Impressive number.
And how long does it take to build a break? Just
You need to answer.
this plant, but then also kind of reference some of the other plants as well.
So how long does it take to build a break?
Well, it takes 7 minutes to build the brakes that I build, and other brakes, it just depends on what kind of brakes it is, but some take longer and some not quite as long.
Okay, cool.
Talk about individual work versus team work, working in small groups, those sorts of things out on the floor.
Okay, can we talk about individual work versus teamwork?
Well, usually it depends on the size of the project. Of course, if individual work, it's usually pertaining to size of the project, the expertise, the person selected by usually by those factors. Usually a teamwork is usually on a bigger project, or sustaining, building a team to sustain what you've or building up to certain standards.
We kind of mentioned educational background, but can we go across
Okay.
and just talk
For
what
each
kind of
person.
what highest level of education that you have?
Okay, so starting with you, what's the highest level of education that you have?
I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering.
I have my high school diploma, but then I'm going back to school for welding. So I'll get a certificate that says I'm a welder.
I have my high school diploma. I'm working on my bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in human resources.
I have a high school diploma, but I'm going back now for welding and blueprinting, and I've already took other welding and blueprinting classes.
I have a bachelor's degree in business management. I think for a second. I did have some welding certifications prior to that and some engineering.
Nice, nice.
Micah, can you talk a little bit about how you got involved in this?
Okay, yeah, sure. I don't need my phone. Originally, I go to high school at the York Comprehensive High School, and we had taken field trips here. And Tom Drumright had brought me into his office after a few times of seeing him, and he sat me down and asked me if I would like to go internship for them. And after that, we sat down and we talked about it, and I talked with my parents, and we got the contracts from the Floyd E. Johnson Center, which we have a work-based learning system. So I get school credit for it, but I also come to work. Sometimes you can drop a class and go to school during that block or come after school. And so we went through all that process, and well, I'm here now.
It's probably go back over here, but I'm not sure y'all decide. Question is, how does Meritor determine who gets sent to school for extra training?
Okay, so how do you guys determine who gets sent back to school?
Well, here at Meritor, we do a bid process. So if someone's interested in a job, they can fill out a form and put it in a box. So we posted the opportunity to go back to school and just collected all the bids and decided. We do it a lot on seniority based too. So someone who's been here a lot longer might have an opportunity versus someone who just came in the door a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
We're getting a lot of very good questions. Can we talk a little bit about innovation, especially the new Akuma cell and the robots that we have going? Can you talk a little bit about a little bit more about that, kind of how it plays into Meritor in general?
Okay.
Innovation kind of overall as well.
All right. You're good. Go ahead.
Well, innovation is something you want periodically in a manufacturing facility. Like I stated earlier, you want to keep up with the latest trends in technology and be innovative, find faster ways to do things, find easier ways to do things, or user-friendly ways to do things. So, for instance, for a spider manufacturing, I mean, we've done some robotic cells, but most of them were manual cells where we manually load the CNC machines and manually unload them. Well, this opens up a variety of issues. So we've been innovative and introduced robots to these cells to kind of cut down on the quality issues and be able to manufacture parts a little faster and more qualified parts.
Probably still to you as well. How'd you get the robots? Who builds them? That sort of stuff.
Well, the robots we have here they are Fanics. They're built overseas, I believe, in the Netherlands or Switzerland, somewhere around there. Different plants have different styles of robot, different types of robots. You have ABB, you have Motorman, and a lot of those are built in either Switzerland, Germany, or Japan.
Any idea how long it takes to program them?
Depends on the size of the project. Small project as far as material handling, loading and unloading may take maybe a day or two with some debug, but you can get pretty complex and it could take up to a few months.
We're just about finished, a couple more. In addition to a job application, what else do I need to do when applying for a job at Meritor?
Filling out a job application is the first step. After that, we usually will contact the applicant, bring them in for an interview, and then that's when we go into the next steps where we run the background check and we do the drug test. We also require work keys, which are simple, or I wouldn't say simple, but they're tests that you can take to kind of gauge your ability to like follow directions, work in an organization, work as a team. So we require 3 of those, which is work, observation, reading for information, and locating information. So those are the 3 that we require. And all that is after the application. The first step would be to fill out an application.
I want to circle back to this question as well. Would you say that your employees are primarily grouped in teams, or are they going to be doing a lot of work that's sort of on their own?
It's a variety in our plant. There's some job areas like CNCs that are standalone machines that are self-paced, meaning the operator themselves actually operate the machine, determine the pace, and we'd consider that more the individual status. And we've also have lines in here where individuals depend on that upstream and downstream person to keep the line running. So we consider those teams. Most of that's in the axle groups. We have probably 80 employees on first shift that we consider teams on 2 different lines, and we're adding a 3rd. So those really are self-functioning teams as opposed to like CNC or individual brake operators.
This would probably stay with you. How does Meritor get back to the community?
We have several things that we do during the year. The cancer drive that we do once a year. We've got several nonprofit organizations that we donate to during the year. We have several people in the plant that donate the year. And Meritor as a whole has funds that they distribute to the local plants and determine the local plants determine where those funds go to.
Couple more. This is great. Gonna probably go right back across the way, but y'all can, the guys in the center can answer as well. Top 3 reasons, and you don't have to stick with 3 if you don't want to, that employees lose their job.
You guys can get some advice.
So restate the question for me, make sure they can hear it.
So what are the top 3 reasons that someone could lose their job here?
Well, I work on the axle line, and sometimes the axle line itself it's not the right thing for you. For me, I've seen people come and they can't handle it. It's just not for them.
Well, I would have to say low performance, not coming to the job, doing what you have to do, and violating the ethics codes.
Not following your work instructions, not following your bill of materials. You have to go by that to make sure that you're building everything right. Don't take shortcuts. A lot of people do that. That cause you to lose your job.
I think on the flip side of that, it's easier to keep your job than it is to lose it. If you come to work, do a good job, produce good quality product, work with each individuals, follow your work instructions, as Jason says, you can be a long-term employee here.
Well, I was just going to go with what Scott said. Attendance. Attendance is a big thing here. Coming on time, coming the days you're scheduled to come, which unless you have vacation plan is Monday through Friday. Coming when there's mandatory overtime. Attendance is a big deal here. And that's one way. If you want to keep your job, you come to work every day.
Can you talk about the need for overtime? Why that would be involved, that sort of thing?
Most of our overtime is dictated by our customers, and the customers have line rates that rise and fall, and we try to follow along with what their needs are. We don't like hiring a lot of people, so when the business starts falling off, that we have to lay off a lot of people. So we try to keep a good balance of employees and in tune with our customers. So at the end of the day, if they're required to work Saturday, we pretty much are required to work Saturday as well.
Can you talk a little bit about who your customers are? Generally or specific?
Yeah, most of our customers out of this particular plant, we want to call them interplant. So we supply most of our all other Meritor plants in the area. Manning facility in Lower South Carolina is our main customer, but we also supply parts to OEMs such as Freightliner truck, Mack, Volvo, PACCAR. Starting to get in some business with PACCAR, and a lot of smaller OEMs for parts.
I think last question. How do you keep the floors so clean?
I don't think the floor is as clean as it should be, but we do have a scrubber, a sweeper scrubber that comes in on third shift and actually goes around the floors. We've got a lot of work to do on the floor as far as replacing some of the epoxy coats that's come up, but it's basically putting the right epoxy coat down and maintaining it.
Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I hope that it was very informational, and we'll leave it back to you guys. So you guys have a wonderful day.